That's a life of a fisherman you wouldn't understand. Something you can't feel on dry land. Gotta get your arms way up in a cage and set the hook on smallmouth bass, and then you'll understand. Gotta get your hands on a Shimano reel and a G-Loom that's trying to bet you like what you feel. Step on the deck, giving the world hello, welcome to my world.
What's going on, all you Facebook Live, YouTube Live fishing freaks? Hope you guys are having a great week. Sorry about last night. I got busy. I'm wrapping up my summer vacation. I was looking, we go back to school like August 12th or something for teachers, which is right around the corner. JR is headed to the beach here this weekend, be gone next week. I got a lot of stuff going on. I went to Yatesville yesterday. Got my teeth kicked in. We'll talk about that in just a second. Larry Slack in the house. What's up, buddy? Tony's in the house. Jamie Baxter, music. What's up, man? Thanks for joining us. Buckeye Bushcraft in the house. Guys, we're trying to do things a little differently anyway. I think maybe because, to be honest with you, a lot of the folks in our area that fish a Tuesday night tournament on the river, and it seems like our numbers have been extremely low. So we're just trying to kind of fill things out, seeing what's the best for everybody. Gary Timberlake in the house, what's happening? We're trying to fill things out. Right now we have 15 people on there, which is about 14 more than we had last week on Tuesday. So maybe it's a Wednesday night at after church thing for people. I don't know. We're just kind of filling it out. We talked about it last week on the show, but actually we didn't talk about it last week on our show because I don't think it had happened yet. This week, the Kentucky ACE or something? It's Kentucky Army Corps of Engineers, ACE. KYACE, and they have put the kibosh on putting F1s in Paintsville Lake because they claim that it is an invasive species. Now, I'm sure you guys have seen other invasive species they've put in Paintsville Lake, like, I don't know, rainbow trout? They're not native. I don't know about that, but what's up, Jeff? Man, hope that sucks. You're still laid up. It's kind of weird. There's a dude's name. I'm gonna find the guy's name. I'm gonna post his email here below because that's how strongly I feel about it. I am going to find the guy's email here really quickly. Just for the simple fact that I'm going to post it on the screen for your guys's, do what you will with it. Don't, harass this guy. I would definitely respond, send him a professional email, and see, what he has to say. I would like to, and first off, here's the thing about it. Even if you're not from Kentucky, I am not from Kentucky. I will tell you that. And which, the biggest thing is that I do more fishing in Ohio than Kentucky, or Kentucky than Ohio, because it's better. Seems like the lakes are better. What's up, Adam? How you doing, man? But this fella right here, Mr. Given, at Army Corps of Engineers, usace.army.mil. This guy is supposedly one of the top dogs that made one of the decisions to stop F1s from being introduced into Paintsville Lake. I'm not from Kentucky, so if I've already emailed this guy, I haven't got a response. I would say, in my email, I put it that I was from Ohio, but I fish Kentucky lakes a lot. I also try to be a steward of the water as best I can, and I'm trying to get information about why the F1 species was considered to be an invasive species and why they thought it was going to affect the northern strain of bass. Yeah. So the northern strain of bass, the biggest thing is they're talking about right now is they think that introducing the F1 or the Florida strain. Guys, if you guys don't know what F1 bass are, F1 are kind of known as tiger bass as well. They're a Florida genetic strain of bass. Well, we know that Florida grows giant bass. Well, they also have an advantage over the northern strain is they grow up to twice as fast and twice as big as the northern strain. Now, the biggest thing is that the DNR in our area, Ohio, Kentucky, West Virginia, all these people that have been in the talks of F1 bass, they always go back to this northern strain lineage. And I, for one, don't understand it. My biggest thing is they act like the F1s and the northern strains, coexisting and intermingling and, crossbreeding would deteriorate the northern strain lineage of the bass. Now, that is 100% true. That is going to happen. But what are the negatives to that? Like, I'm still trying to figure out, because the northern strain bass is not on the endangered list. You can still eat a Florida strain bass. They're going to be twice as big, twice as quickly as a northern strain bass. You can generate way more money for the community and the area that you are in by that. I've yet to see a negative to introducing Florida strain bass. And that's basically what I told this fella here. And I also told him point blank that his response was going to be public knowledge because I was going to post it on my page, and not to blow him up, but I wanted him to understand that, his response is going to elicit probably some other, responses. And the thing about it is that it's just, I don't know, it's weird. What's your guys' thoughts on that? Guys, JR is on the left-hand side of the show because he joined first.
There we go.
Let's see.
That's better.
See, there we go. Back to normal.
I think I posted on there. I said something to the effect of, but I guess I'm just a dumb biologist. So it makes no sense. I think they don't want anything to change because it's an old boys club where there's a bunch of them smoking cigars in a back room, and they make the decisions about all the decisions. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was looking yesterday. Let's see. How did I Google it? And I ran across let's see. Let's see. All right. So the University of, let's see, I think it was University of Tennessee. There was a fellow named R.J. Chin, K.M. Hunt, and the R.B. Ditton. These are people from Texas A&M. There's a lot of different people on here. I'll share this thing out, but the craziest thing about it is that they estimated that the total angler expenditures made in the Lake Fork area. Now, keep in mind, this is in 2015, I believe. This has got to be way more now. But just in the Lake Fork area, don't get me wrong, Lake Fork is huge, and it is known to be one of the biggest bass generating lakes on the planet. It has a name, but it has it's less than 30 years old, like Yatesville or Paintsville, probably, I would say. And then, it's up there. But they estimated that almost $16 million were pumped into the economy by angler expenditures alone in the Lake Fork area. And that's not counting all of the other lakes that are in that area that are giant bass breeding areas. So again, as I was mentioning earlier, like I don't see a negative. They keep going back to the northern lineage being like eradicated. And first off, that's not going to happen. Second off is they talk about how they want, to keep invasive species out. Well, let's talk about the Army Corps of Engineers lakes to start with. Well, the Army Corps of Engineers lakes are actually built for flood control. They're not built for recreational use. They're not built with fishing in mind. These things are all kind of like collateral damage, if you will, or collateral, not really collateral benefits, if you will. But they're not designed for recreation and fishing in mind. They're designed for flood control, if to my limited knowledge. Now, when they built these lakes, there was zero fish in them. Like there was creeks and stuff running through a lot of these areas. Like for example, if you think about Yatesville, there was like Little Blaine Creek, and there was like Little Sandy running through Grayson. There's just like so much, there's water coming in, but they're nothing but babbling brooks at this point. They dam it up and create this flood control area to keep the areas around them from flooding, which I think it's needed and I think it's a great thing. But they had to introduce a species of bass to those lakes initially. So they chose the northern strain bass on their own. Now, I can understand why, probably because it's very easy to get. You can go to any fish hatchery around the planet, especially local to us, and buy as many largemouth bass as you want. They're way cheaper than Florida strain, but they, in essence, are really a Florida strain, or I'm sorry, an invasive species to that lake because they weren't there naturally.
100% agree. I think that's already happened, Gary. I think if you and Jason's done this actually. I mean, he's talked about how many times they've done studies, and that's already intermixed in it. So, you know, really, it's already been done. They're just scared of something that would have an immediate ecological effect and the potential of that being bad. However, you have already got, I don't know how many lakes at this point, to be your guinea pigs. I mean, even in this local, geographic area, there's a lot of lakes that they've put F1s in. I
Yeah,
mean,
High
in
Splint Lake, I believe, is
Virginia,
one of them.
Tennessee, I mean, there's a lot, and they've all done really well.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing, like High Splint, I think it is, or Fish, I think it's High Splint. High Splint is where the Kentucky state record bass came from, and they done a study on those bass, and they are like 80% F1 strain. So they stock those things with F1s,
Mhm.
and that's where it's like 15.5 pound bass come out of this past year before that, which, it's just, I think it's like JR said, it's like this good old boy system. Like somebody's getting some trickle down money somewhere. But it's weird to me that they don't want to do that. And this question here, is there a northern grade smallmouth that they can stock? I think that there is. If you look at Grayson more than Yatesville, I think Grayson would be more apt to have a smallmouth habitat. And I've heard tell that there's smallmouth in Grayson. I've fished Grayson 10,000 times. I've never caught anything that resembles a smallmouth. I've caught a ton of spots, ton of largemouth, no smallmouth. However, I will tell you, I saw a physical evident picture, like old school, like snapping with one of the wind up cameras from Walmart, that Nate Witt has, of him with like a 3 pound smallmouth out of Grayson. But it was like 20 years ago. So, I think that they would do well in Grayson. I think Yatesville probably gets pressured too much, and it gets hot. I was out there yesterday, it was 85 degrees. So I'd like to see them do something. But like right now, I think that they're just coming up with this idea. And the biggest thing about it is like the Army Corps of Engineers are putting their foot down even after the legislature, or the legislators and the people in the government said, "Yeah, let's try this." What the deal was is they wanted to add 5,000, I think it was 6 to 10 inch, or four to
Yeah, I think
four
it
to eight
was.
inch. They're just fingerlings, but they wanted to do 5,000 a year in like
For
five different
3 years.
lakes in Kentucky. One of them was Paintsville, it's the closest one to us. But yes, 5,000 fingerlings a year for 5 years, and they wanted to check it out, see what happens. Now, 5,000 fingerling F1 bass is not going to be cheap. 5,000, they're way more than $1 a piece, so it's probably $2 to $3 a piece. So you're looking at probably $8,000 to $10,000 probably for these fish per year. But how much of our money, when it comes to fishing licenses, goes back to those lakes? And not many. other than like Jason Kenner and those guys, they've got some, and it's not really even, I guess it is government funded. Maybe it's not. I think it's like private funded grant money that they're getting. They've put like reef balls and they've put artificial reefs and they've put all kind of stuff in Paintsville. They've put like 10,000 or something threadfin shad, or maybe I think it's 50,000 a year for the last 5 years. And dude, it has blown up the population of giant bass in Paintsville. Yatesville, um, other than Cameron Dials is a freaking hammer, by the way. If you don't know Cameron, if you're ever fishing against him, you're fishing for second on Yatesville right now. He just hammers them. Matter of fact, I think last night or Tuesday night or whenever it was, whenever they fished, I think that he had like 17 and a half pounds with like a 6 pound biggest fish. And then this past weekend, he had 19 something. It's crazy this time of year. But, you know, it's consistently turning out big fish. But I think with help, you know, you turn some F1s loose in there, especially like Paintsville, Yatesville, and you do some threadfin stocking. I see a double-digit bass coming in our backyard. Now, what does that do for economic impact? Well, I could tell you, as Tony posted a second ago, that he went to Lake Fork, and Lake Fork got his money this past year. Same for me, man. I drove 36 hours round trip to go to Lake Fork. I went there. I spent several days there. I had an Airbnb. I paid for food there, fuel there, there and back. I paid for my fishing license there. I probably dropped on between Dusty and I probably dropped $1,500 in Lake Fork in the Lake Fork area. Now that's just me, and again, we're not comparing apples to apples here because Lake Fork and Paintsville are two totally different opposite ends of the spectrum here. But I think that given the right opportunity, that you have the same opportunity here to grow giant bass and bring in, even if it's $1 million a year, if it's like a 10% of what they're doing at Lake Fork, that's $1 million that goes back into the community, which then trickles down into the pockets of the mom and pop folks that have the gas stations around there, the restaurants, guides could even be a thing there now, and like there's just so much economic impact that it can be. I personally, and again, I've asked this the Brian Givens guy here online here. If you guys are just seeing his name on the bottom, this is one of the guys that basically, has put a kibosh to the F1. So again, that's why I reached out and I want I'd like some information because it feels like they just like they're taking their ball and going home.
I agree. I think they have to provide some type of information as to why. And I know, Lord knowing Jason, I know he's going to be all over it and he's not going to take no for an answer. But it is kind of strange. I mean, if you think about it as well, that lake didn't have threadfin in it, and they allowed threadfin. That was another species that was not native there, and they didn't do anything about that. So what is
I get it, but I think their biggest soapbox is the fact that they keep harping on the northern strain lineage of those bass. They say if you introduce F1s in there, the northern strain bass will never be totally northern strain anymore.
They already are.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like you can go out and do some research and find out that they're not going to be 100% northern strain. There's no way. Because I've seen crazy things happen. My own personal life, guys. I've told you guys this story before. Actually, we talked about it, I think, when Jason was here. But I caught a flathead catfish on a crankbait at the Robert C. Bird Locks and Dam in Gallipolis on the Ohio River. Had a tag in it, called the DNR. It was actually West Virginia DNR. They told me that they turned that loose in a pond, in a private pond somewhere like 3 years before that, and it made its way to the Ohio River. How was that done? Well, it could have been through floods. It could have been through people taking it out of there. Maybe it could have been, even as bad as it sounds or crazy it sounds, I've seen birds grab fish out of ponds, and who's to say that they're not really close to the river and drop that thing and then the fish gets away? Like that's not, I don't think that that's, a fairy tale. That could definitely happen. I don't know what comments you've put up here, Jason. Yeah, so I agree with that, Josh. I think you're right there.
100%.
Corey Weaver just got to the river, Rocky Point on the Ohio River. Is that right? Rocky Point. I'm not sure, man.
I know one thing. I am like dying to go fishing. I feel like I haven't gone at all in forever. It's been so stinking hot. It's just miserable.
Yesterday, I went to Grayson for a while, and I'm sorry, I went to Yatesville. 84-degree water temperature. Man, Jesse, I'm not disagreeing with you, man. Like they had a Tuesday night tournament last night, and a buddy of mine freaking whacked two giant smallmouth. I don't know how big they were. They looked like they were 3 pound apiece. I have been out on the river several times in the last week or so, actually 2 weeks, and I've caught fish every time. Misty, this is a great story. Misty was with she's an X-ray tech, but she was taking care of a fella, and they started just conversating, making small talk, and turns out they were talking about fishing, and then they were having a conversation about fishing, and my name come up, and then the dude's name, or the dude is Dan Hitchcock, who is a member who follows our page, which there's several people that follow our page that I don't never met. But anyway, he went outside to his truck and got 3 lures and gave them to Misty that he'd custom painted. One of them being like a threadfin shad pattern in a DT6 replica. One was a Danco popper, and the other one I think was a square bill. She threw that DT6 the other day on the river and freaking crushed them. She got more fish than I did. But right now, man, I really don't have a problem going out on the river, even when it's tough, because I think the deal is when I'm out on the river fishing that I have it in the mindset of that I know that it's going to be tough. So I know if I go out there and catch a limit of bass, I'm like had a great day. And sometimes, a lot of times, man, you go out there and throw the right bait. If the spots are chewing, man, you can catch 30 or 40 bass on the river at one given day, but they're not going to be very big. But man, are they fun to catch?
Yeah, where do you guys put in at when you go on the river? I'm interested in this because I'm on the Kentucky side, and I know Tyler always puts in on Ohio. So I hear some people going to Virginia Point. So I would definitely like to find a place that's a little bit closer to me to put in at. So if you guys got a good spot, let me know. I would. I need
I mean,
to
you could use
familiarize myself
Ashland
more.
if you're crazy. They've jacked that thing up.
Yeah.
I was told, I don't know how true this is, but I was told that they'd done all that work to the port of Ashland, as it's called, and then forgot to put a boat ramp in. They're like, "Oh wait, we got to have a way to put a boat in here." But I'll show you guys something really quickly that I have been privy to some conversation. I saw that, man. That was awesome. First off, you guys have a great club. I would have come and fished with you guys, but I forgot you guys were even fishing, to be honest with you. But one of the things that it goes without saying is that there's a few people in every club that you just know you got to whack them to beat. And freaking Ricky Barnett, I think that dude could catch a fish in a mud puddle with a broomstick. I mean, the dude freaking can fish. Him, Chris Malone are big buddies. They both can freaking catch them. Just so many people. But again, there's always a club. There's always a person in the club that are like, yeah, well, we got to beat this guy to win any money. And it seems like, dude, wherever Ricky Barnett shows up, there's going to be fish brought to the dock for sure. But I'm going to show you guys this really quick here. I'll share the screen here. And I can share you this information here with you now. Let's see here. All right, so you guys right now are seeing the Coal Grove boat ramp, which is out on what's known as the point. I don't know if nope, there's not a street view down here. I don't think. No. All right, so anyway, you come in this way here. Let's zoom out a little bit. So you come in here. And the biggest thing is that all of this area right here is coal dust. This is owned by a trucking company, and this has been cleaned up a lot. This aerial imagery is not up to date because it looks a lot nicer in here now. But from here down, it's paved, and then you get to a point, which is actually about right here. It turns into gravel. Well, there's a couple of things here that suck about this ramp. One, it's basically one lane, and you have to pull over, and there's a really sharp curve right here right here where my mouse cursor's at. There's a power pole there, so if you have a bigger boat and somebody's coming at you, you have to like swing over into the bushes. And again, this is all gravel coming down in here. And then you have these little mounds of dirt. Now, I was told by the mayor why these mounds of dirt actually even exist, and they done this to make like a picnic area to start with, to put like picnic tables on it, and they were going to put a shelter on this bigger one here just to give people places to hang out, have some like family reunions type thing. That has never happened. I've never seen anybody down there other than doing anything destructive to these things, ramping it with cars, etc. But the village of Colgrove, I didn't have anything to do with this, by the way. The village of Colgrove, the mayor Andy Holmes submitted a grant or for a grant and got the money, and it's like $1.2 million or something. It may be more than that. But it has to be used for beautification of sites along the Ohio River. Well, he asked me to be a part of the committee. It's called a steering committee, basically just giving him recommendations of how we think he should spend the money. And me being a fisherman and using the Cold Grove boat ramp, as JR mentioned, like multiple times a week, probably 3 times a week on average, at least in the summertime. He brought me on and was asking me what I thought we should do. Well, first and foremost, I told him that he should pave this road all the way down. And this is going to be, as far as I know, when you cross the Riverside Drive here, from here there's a water, or there's a fire hydrant somewhere right in this area right here, which doesn't make it conducive to making a wide sweep here. So they're going to move that, but this is all going to be repaved all the way down through here. It's going to get paved here. So when the gravel starts, all of this is going to be paved, which is great. For some reason, the engineer left this piece of ground, this piece of ground, and this piece of ground in there, which I didn't understand why. But these two big giant pieces of ground right here are going to be leveled off and paved over. Which you can see, if you see this truck that's parked here in the parking lot right now, you can see how much more parking that brings into situations there, just having those things gone and paved over. Also, down here in this wooded area right here, this has already been cleaned off most of the point, and they're going to put a gravel road in here with gravel parking. Now, eventually, in phase 2 of this project, we're going to see what's going to happen, but hopefully, Jared, can you see my mouse cursor on the screen?
Yeah.
All right, so this is a road, was supposed to be a road, but it's all wooded up here. They wanted to clear a path all the way through here, going down where my cursor's at, all the way down to here, and attaching to either this road right here or going even farther down and coming back somewhere in here around all of this coal dust. Now, they ran into some issues, and this is kind of crazy, but anything on the Ohio River bank that you want to do anything to do with any kind of trees, you can't touch the trees on the Ohio River bank after, and it's like April. It's like April whatever. I think it's April to like October or something. You can't touch any trees on the banks of the Ohio River during that time because of a bat uses it for nesting grounds. So the last week that they could tear these trees down, they had a dozer in here, made this. This is going to be like a concrete, or I'm sorry, a gravel parking lot down here for overflow. But eventually there will be a road, and I think it will attach to where this used to be, where the village, all the workers would congregate, and this is where like their headquarters were. But I think they don't use this anymore, so I think the road will eventually come out here. So it'll be a one way in, one way out. So you'll come down here, put your boat in, and when you're leaving, you'll just come down this way and you'll go back out this road. But so the updates on that I just talked to the mayor yesterday about, they got the engineering paperwork back, and the engineer done all their stuff. The village council agreed for him to pay for that stuff to get the paperwork and stuff in their hands. And I think that was last week. He told me that this week it'll be going out for bids. So I think it goes out for bids for 2 weeks, and then as soon as somebody is awarded that, you're going to see some major work going on down here at the Cold Grove boat ramp. One of them being that the It's going to be all new pavement, which is great. We're also putting a really high-end lighting package down here that's going to light this place up like a 4th of July, so you're not going to have all the nefarious activities going on down here where it's fairly dark down here. If you light that thing up like a Christmas tree, nobody's going to want to go down there and hang out. I asked him about this modern piece of engineering marvel right here, which the boat ramp is great. It's just a one lane boat ramp, which it would be awesome if it was 2 or 3, but it is what it is. Now let's talk about how this floating dock is put in here. Well, just so you know, up this way is the river side, so it's the river's flowing this way, so it flows, left to right, or I'm sorry, right to left in this photo. Well, the floating dock is on the downriver side of the ramp. So you can imagine as a lowly little log is floating down through here, it's going to go hit right here and then just pile up on here. So I asked him if we could move this dock on the upriver side. He told me that we can't touch anything that has to do with the water's edge. It has to be from the water's edge up. If it touches the water, we can't touch it. But what we have asked to do, I think, is the fact that they're going to put a hoist system on these poles that during flood stages and flooding events, they will come down here and there'll be like a key system where you turn it. There'll be 2 motors on these poles and it'll pull that floating dock up out of the way and let that stuff go out of the way. But those are some updates coming down the pike from where we're at here, which I'm not mad at. So that's one thing that I think is going to be cool. Cold Grill Boat getting a lot better. But other than that, man, I don't know. Like Little Sandy is way too far from you. I would imagine Virginia Point is going to be the closest one. There's that one they put in at Catlettsburg, but I think it's just a freaking treacherous place.
Yeah, I put in there once. It was a mess. There's no way. It's really hard to get in without help. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, if you're putting in by yourself, I wouldn't even go there. Even that Virginia Point's the same way, but it's up in the Big Sandy there a little bit more. South Point has a boat ramp that's not terrible, but I mean, if you go across the river, you might as well just put in at Cold Grove.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably my best bet, but I always want to look for more. I'm not crazy about that whole flow in the wrong direction thing. I'm always scared to ding up stuff by landing into that, but
there's a ramp. I don't know how to get to it, but it's got to be somewhere right there in around the pawn shop there in Ashland. There's some kind of like, I don't know if it's a private ramp or something, but it's like downriver from Marathon Terminal there. I see people catfishing on it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
See if I can find that on the old Google Maps.
I'm writing this cat a post.
Yeah, old Brian Givens.
Yeah. I'd love to read the reasoning you come up for this.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend. I bet you don't get a response to it.
Yeah, well, I think receiving the email in itself has a purpose. I mean, just getting the email and seeing that level of interest, I think, is important.
Yeah, JR, here's that ramp. I guess it's so Tri-State Pond Jewelry's here. You go down a little bit, 47th Street. All right, there's a boat ramp. I assume that's public. There's a thing here that says New Park.
Oh, it's new.
Oh, we got the street. Who was that guy? Who is that joker?
And Mamaw's up there in the upper left. Heck yeah, man. That's the owner of New Park.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. Oh yeah, I guess. Oh, there was a sign back there. What'd that sign say?
It's just crazy that we can do this, like.
Load boat ramp open, use at your own risk.
Yeah, that's gravel, but I mean,
Yeah. That's pretty cool
though. Yeah. We're really small. I like it. Yeah.
There it is. So the opposite is 39th Street. I think that's it. Where is that there? 37th Street or 47th, whatever it was.
Tyler, I didn't
Tyler
know you
Williams.
existed anymore. What happened to you? Rob uses the Ashland boat ramp.
I think he was just talking about that one. 39th Street, there's nothing off of 39th. It must be 47th you're talking about. And I think Carl's right here. I think it's the new park off 47th Street. I've never used it. Don't know that. I don't know. I don't want to offend anybody that maybe lives there, but it looks like a pretty sketchy environment over there. I'd probably just drive to Virginia Point.
I hope those two are down there smoking meth right now.
Messing around.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys,
It's nothing
we
on-
I went to Grayson. I went to Yatesville yesterday. I keep saying Grayson. I should have went to Grayson because apparently it's on my mind. I'm going to go somewhere probably tomorrow for a while. But I went out to Yatesville yesterday and had my teeth kicked in. Like they were like back here somewhere in the back of my head. Like I feel like I can usually go to Yatesville and catch at least one keeper, and I did catch one keeper, but it took me. I fished 10 hours and caught 3 fish. Two of those being back-to-back casts within 5 minutes of each other, and one fish was at like noon, and the other two were like at 5 o'clock in the evening. Water temperature's 85 degrees out there. There wasn't much boat traffic. I figured that I would be able to catch a few fish, man. And I fished really deep, and I swear to goodness, man, I don't know if the fish relate to bottom on Yatesville Lake deep. I think that's why Cameron Dials and all those guys that are, scopers, like I think he scopes anyway. Maybe he doesn't. I'm putting words in his mouth, but Jimmy Boone and Likens and all these guys that go out there and catch them pretty consistently, they're all scoping. And like it seems like when you see fish, they're in timber, but they're never towards the bottom. They're always suspended in that water, in that temperature, or in that timber somewhere. You see them like it's almost like Del Hollow. It's like baby Del Hollow. They're never like they don't relate to structure much unless it's timber, and they're never towards the bottom. Like there's a bridge, and I'm sure you guys have, maybe you guys have found it, maybe not, but about, I don't know, quarter mile, maybe not that far, an eighth of a mile off the end of Carter Island, there's a bridge. And I actually was on a live show one time, and a guy watching said he used to fish underneath that bridge when he was a kid, the actual creek, which I thought was cool. I thought it would be cool to see a picture of that, but I don't know what year that was, but obviously it was before they dammed the lake up. But there's a bridge at the end of Carter Island. It's in about 38 foot of water. Should be absolutely fire in 85-degree water temperature. And I have casted my freaking arm off using Berkeley dredgers. I've thrown a Carolina rig. I've thrown a football jig. I've thrown some kind of big Texas rig. I've thrown everything around it. Like I bet if you like scuba dove down there to that, you would see everything that I've thrown because it's all hung up on the bridge. Like I've lost so many baits on that thing. I have not caught a single fish off of that bridge, and it's very, very, very hard to believe.
I've thrown at that thing a lot too, and I've not caught anything off of it. Mostly I go there and just try to catch something on a Carolina rig just to get some confidence on a Carolina rig.
Man, I don't. That's one of my confidence baits, especially right now with a big worm, something like a Zumo Monster, or like the Hitworm Magnum is great too. There's a lot of different stuff there, but kind of, it's as bad as I hate to say it, man. We're almost to August, and then we get through August, and then it's going to be fall before we know it. Especially in this area, we get about 35 minutes of spring, we get about 45 minutes of fall, and then it's summer and winter. That's all we get. But when it starts cooling down, man, the leaves start changing. It's kind of one of my favorite times of the year. A lot of things that happen during that time of year, one, me being a musician, I listen to bluegrass music when the fall starts kicking in. I just love that. Campfires, smelling campfires, and seeing the leaves change and stuff, and also catching bass seems a little bit be a little bit better, obviously. Dude, I don't know who it was. Somebody that I'm friends with on Facebook, which is 5,000 people at this point. So it was somebody that I added new, I think. Dude caught like a freaking 15-pound striper the other day or I think it might have been a hybrid. I couldn't tell. It might have been a striper. I didn't look at it, but it looked like a hybrid out of Paintsville. Like two of them. He had freaking giants. I don't know the guy, but he was. I guarantee that was fun, even if he was bass fishing.
Oh, it's back. It's back.
What?
Man, I'm this old. I got one of these bird feeders, okay? And it always like says, there's something at your bird feeder every freaking time, dude. Every time. Oh,
Oh, dude, is that a coon?
yeah, man. Like every time them suckers. And there's like a way for you to play like a thing to like scare it. Those things don't get scared. They ain't scared of nothing.
Dude, trash pandas don't give an F.
No, they don't, man. I kind of respect them for that, man. They're like, really like the bald eagle is our national, animal, but really it should probably be a raccoon or maybe a possum.
Always reminds me of National Lampoon's, or no, what was it? The Great Outdoors with John Candy. When I was a kid, I used to watch the movie all the time, and it had those coons, and they gave those coons like their own dialogue. He's like, they
Yeah.
put the trash cans, they put the lids on. He's like, what do you think we got these for? Scratch your asses? That was hilarious.
Yeah.
John Candy eating that steak, he's like, and getting the last bite in. He's like, you got
What
to
was
eat
that
fat.
called?
It was Great Outdoors.
97 or something?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Big Bear. Big Bear.
Oh, John Candy. Gone too
Shoots that
soon.
guy. It shoots that bear in the freaking rear end with that lamp with the blows his freaking fur off with that light bulb. God, I have to watch that movie tomorrow so I can find it.
Yeah. Well, you guys have definitely convinced me to go on the river if I can on, I don't know, tomorrow or Friday. Mayhaps.
Yeah. I forgot about there's a Grayson tournament tomorrow for marathon. Might hit that. Who knows? It's hard to say.
Yeah.
It's like 5 to 10, I believe, at Grayson. A pet snake or snakes? Snakes. Did you see? Somebody shared a video with me the other day of a guy who was like wrangling up, like timber rattlers in his boat. Like he was using his boat as a way to get timber rattlers away from this lake, and he had them all. There must have been 10 of them in his boat. No thanks.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so guys, if you guys are just now joining us, the guy's name here at the bottom of the screen is one of the guys that, if not the guy, that made one of the final decisions to kibosh putting F1s in Paintsville Lake. So shoot him an email, just asking for an explanation. Harassing this guy and making him feel like that he's less of a person is not going to get us anywhere. Like we have to. I just like to have some information, and I'm not the only one. I'm sure, like I said, the Anglers for Improving Opportunities. If you guys are not a part of that page, you should definitely do so. Even if you're not from our area, it is a Kentucky-based group. There's 2,400 members of that group. Anglers for Improving Opportunities. Let's see. I might be able to post a link in the comments here. I apologize for that. When I choose invite via QR code. Oh, there we go. Copy code. Let's try this. Can I do this? Let's try to share an image file. Download. Boom.
Whoa, fancy. Maybe I should get that banner off of there. So
I got it. Let's see here.
Oh.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, so if you scan that, or if you take a screenshot of it, if you have your phone, if you're watching on a computer or whatever, you can scan that. It'll take you directly there. A lot of great information on there, not just for Kentucky. It's a lot of information on there about F1s and all that stuff. Jason and those guys do an awesome job of just talking fishing, which is great. They share a lot of photos and stuff, so it is there if you would like to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, we're about that 50-minute mark, 45 minutes. Looks like Wednesdays have been a whiz banger compared to Tuesday nights. So appreciate you guys joining in. We're just trying to do some things that are a little different.
Shake it up.
Shake it up. But JR, I'll talk to you tomorrow. But if you can, we might fish that tournament. If not, if you can't, I might ask a young kid to go with me. But we'll figure something out. But
what time?
Anyway,
is it?
5 to 10 at Grayson.
Okay. All right, fellers.
Go over there and again one last time we'll throw old Brian Given his name up there. Shoot him an email if you want to. If not, that's fine too. We appreciate you guys sticking around for this episode of On Another Line Live. We have Ace in the house. What's up, Ace? And got a new episode of the 10 Rig Reno coming out tomorrow on my YouTube channel, which is going to be the very last episode. I can't say that I am disappointed. That thing has been fun. It's been great, and I had a lot of fun doing it. It just gave me something to do this summer. Got it back out on the water, and when I got it back out on the water, Joe actually blew out his freaking bicep, tore his bicep. So he had to have surgery last week, and he is down for the count. So hopefully he can get it out here in the fall. We're seeing, but everything's good to go. Guys, we bought a battery. It was XZNY, I think is the company, and I've yet the boat hasn't burnt down yet. We'll put it that way. $350 for a 24-volt, 100-amp-hour battery is absurd. That is a great deal. So if it lasts, it's guaranteed for 3 years, and if it lasts 3 years, it'll be well worth the money for a 24-volt battery. Even buying cheap lead-acid batteries, you're going to have $350 on it in 2 of them. Well, that being said, guys, we're going to go out and try to catch the fish tomorrow. Last episode of the 10 Rig Reno is coming out tomorrow on YouTube. Got some shorts coming up. I don't know what's going on with YouTube right now. I was gaining a lot of followers, and then all of a sudden they're like, nope. It's like they just turned the switch off. Actually, matter of fact, this week I've lost 5 followers. I guess that's what I get for renovating renovating a boat.
Yeah,
anyway,
you owe YouTube $100 at this point.
Probably way more than that, actually. But yeah, it was, the 10 Rig Reno was great. Quick update on my school project, which some of you guys may not care. Actually, Rob that watches here, he is one of the guys that put the roof on the other day, so thank you for that. I got the roof on my building, got $400,000 worth of Haas CNC machinery showing up on Monday, and a 5-foot by 10-foot wood router showing up 2 days after that. And then we start back on August 14th or something. So it is going to be wide open. But I say that to say this, be a lot of cool baits coming out of the old Dawson Bryant Technology Lab, because that's going to be one of the cool things that we do with students is try to create some. I probably won't have them do lead molds just for the simple fact that lead is extremely toxic, and I don't want to set these kids up to have cancer. I am probably going to have lead-induced cancer in my lifetime because I have poured 64 million baits in my lifetime, but I don't want to put them at risk. But soft plastics, that's definitely on the to-do list. I'm going to try to get a hold of some bait manufacturers, something like baitplastics.com, see if they will be interested in working with us, and that's going to be coming up. So you guys will be seeing that within the next 6 months, I hope. So that's going to be really daggone cool. I have not yet, man. I got a couple trips planned up in the next couple weeks. Illinois may be one of those. Definitely going to Lake Erie here at the first week in August. I'm going to go up there. My buddy Dusty, who went on the trip with me, he has his camper up to Lake Erie. We're going to go up and do some perching with Aaron Dix and the Only Fins charter. Good buddy of mine, absolutely whacks the perch. We always go up walleye fishing, man, but perch fishing is so much more enjoyable and is also so much more easy. You can go out and catch your couple hundred, a day, depending on how many's on your boat, in a few hours normally, and go back in and be done with it. But that's the deal. That's where I'm headed. I think next year, I think Illinois might fall into next year's The Trip. We're going to take a 2-week trip, and we're going to check off a pile of lakes. I may even be doing it by myself. I hope not, but I think I've talked my buddy Kyle and Dusty into going. More people that, more the merrier, but it's not going to be for the week. We're going to be going through Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota, South Dakota, Nebraska, and Kansas. And probably hitting Iowa there on the way up. We'll probably go up and fish like the Illinois River, actually the Mississippi River. Sorry, we'll fish the Mississippi River where it comes into Illinois, Iowa, and Wisconsin. Probably hit those up. Definitely when we get into Wisconsin, when we go into Minnesota, we're definitely going to fish Mille Lacs. But there's going to be like 9 states checked off in one trip. Again, not going to be for the faint of heart, but that's going to be coming next year. I haven't figured out if I want to do Illinois this year, just leave it for next, but it's going to happen. So, guys, we're about that 50-minute mark. Appreciate you guys sticking around for this episode of On Another Line Live, and you know what to do. If you can, get out there and lean on them. We'll see you next time on Another Line.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of On Another Line Live. We truly appreciate your support, and we couldn't do it without all the amazing folks at home watching week after week. A big thank you goes out to our sponsors, who help make this show possible. Malone's Marine, Borders Sporting Goods, Solar Bat Sunglasses, Picasso Lures, Shimano, and Columbia Sportswear. Their partnership allows us to keep bringing you the content you love. We'll see you next time on Another Line. Until then, get out there and lean on them.